Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Tech TLDR. In today's SpaceX news update, we're going to be talking about the SN10 static fire, the news I have regarding that and the closures. We're going to be talking about SpaceX's Starlight Mission coming up, the SN11, that Starship is ready to rock and roll, as well as China's first space station, China's only space station. Before we get into that, I want to remind you, click the thumbs up. It helps me out a lot more than you know. And also, if you haven't watched it already, Elon Musk interview with Joe Rogan, you have to watch it. They did it yesterday. Elon Musk gives a lot of insight as to what's going on with SpaceX, Tesla, a little bit about Neuralink, as well as the AI platforms. I highly recommend it if you're interested at all in the different businesses that he operates. Elon's super open about everything. In previous interviews, he's kind of uncomfortable, but this one, it's fantastic. Highly recommend it. Let's get into why you clicked on the video, though. It's the SN10. So the SN10, now yesterday it didn't do its static fire test. Today it had the road closure for it. However, that has actually been canceled. There is no longer any sort of closures for the roads or the beach in that area. They're not going to be doing any static fires, and the reason for this cancellation is most likely due to the weather. The only problem with these cancellations is that if we go in Cameron County area, there's no new closures scheduled. Today, February 12th, was the last closure that was set in place. Now, by the time you guys are watching this video, there may be more closures, so let me know in the comments if there is anything like that. I'm recording this video pretty early in the day, so I wouldn't be surprised if throughout the remainder of Friday we see a possible cancellation coming up. I want to let you know that don't be on the lookout for anything happening today. There's not going to be a static fire. Don't want anybody to get their hopes up for that. Now, regarding the upcoming Starlink mission, there are 60 more Starlinks being planned to be flown into orbit on the Falcon 9 this coming week. Tomorrow, February 13th, as long as the weather is favorable and all systems are go. As you know, these launch out in the Florida area, so if you're over there, be sure to check it out. SpaceX will most likely be live streaming this. They love showing off the landings of the booster, especially when it lands on that drone ship. Highly recommend checking that out. Now, the SN11, that Starship, it has been completed. As I had mentioned in a previous episode, once it goes into the high bay, the body itself, it has to have the nose cone attached, and it has successfully been attached. It is completed. This is coming from teslarati.com. Now, a big deal about the SN11, it's technically the end of this model of Starship as far as we know. So the SN12, 13, and 14, those have all been scrapped. Those were going to have the original design of the SN8 through 11. Elon Musk has tweeted and has proven that they're doing significant changes to the overall body of this. So starting with SN15 through, as far as I know, they're up to 18 right now. Those have a new design to them. There's been no actual real photos coming out about that yet. If I find anything that's really concrete about that stuff, I'll definitely have it in the next episode. But until then, we can just speculate as to what's going to really be happening with those. Elon Musk has said that, in his words, many small improvements, but overall similar. Wiring is more robust, engines are more mature, nose cone is sealed better. Major upgrades are slated for SN15. So this SN11, the SN10, even if they launch and land, we're still going to see changes coming from the SN15 and beyond that may hinder another landing. If we see, for example, let's say the SN10 or the SN11 successfully lands, that doesn't mean automatically that the SN15 and beyond will land. I'm sure that the things that they are solving will make it much easier, but again, it's changes to the system, so there's some more things that they're going to have to overcome and figure out. Now, the last story I want to get into, China's first space station module is ready for flight. That's right, the Tianyi, I believe I'm pronouncing that right. This is from space.com. China is launching their very own space station in orbit. Apparently, the ISS is not good enough for them. Democracy is not their thing. This is going to be a 3-part mission. The Tianyi is going to be coming from space.com. It'll be provide power and propulsion for the whole space station. This is essentially going to be the main body, the main vessel, if you will, and it'll be also hosting a docking hub so that the other parts of it can later connect. It operates the same way as the space station currently does. Now, let me know in the comments if you knew much about this. This is something I really didn't know too much about. There's always, when it comes to government type stuff, I don't really look into it too much. like, when NASA's doing something, because there's always cancellation, there's always red tape. Apparently this is coming to fruition though, so let me know in the comments how you feel about this, with China doing this. On the article itself, and it didn't give a specific date, however I did a little more research, and this will be launching in March of this year. So in just a few months, or 1 month, China will have its own space station in orbit. Pretty crazy to think. It's going to host up to 3 people and anywhere for about 6 months at a time living in this vessel. As much as we were talking about in my previous episode about how I hope space doesn't become all about governments, this is kind of making it seem like that's what is happening. However, I'm really not too salty about this. I think it's good that another space station will be in orbit. It's sad that there's the ISS. It's cool to see more products being put into space that will help humanity understand space better, get a much better threshold into that environment. So it doesn't bother me. I just find it funny, to be honest, that China has to have their own. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys in this episode. If you want more of this content, if you enjoy this, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments, did you watch the Joe Rogan podcast with Elon Musk? We're going to talk about that in the comments. Be sure to let me know, and have a good one.